and you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8, verse 32.
Hey fam bam, it's me, juslonda. Have you subscribed? Have you joined the fam? Join the madness, join the fun. It's me, juslonda. We got an update. Can we talk that talk?
Did he lose his job?
I mean, he claims.
Did he start?
Because you remember he was arguing with that one girl. And she was like, oh, you probably live with your roommate. He's like, I could pull out $100K now.
Okay.
But one thing about me, I could pull 100,000 on the bank. Can you do the same?
And now
he got a GoFundMe
for 10,000.
This dude's a fraudster.
Okay, so we have an update. Apparently, Weapon X, Michelangelo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Michelangelo, the plumber Aaron, is a scammer or some sort. So I didn't want to take in what only women were saying. I needed men to back up what was being said about Mr. Aaron. So let me set this up and we'll get into it. Abba and Preach. If you haven't seen their first reaction, I will link it right up there so you can see their first reaction. I've also done a video on it. I will also leave my reaction to it as well. There were some men that I was going to do like a reaction to, but this came out yesterday and I was like, I don't want to see what they say. I don't want to see what they say. I want to hear what they have to say. And then MTR, I believe that's the initials, he had the accountability lady, Miss Daphne, on the telephone and they were talking. So I just wanted to highlight her part because I have so much respect for her. When I mean she be like, oh yeah, her skip tracing is on point. So you better not piss Daphne off. So let's get into Preacher Alba and then we'll get into what Daphne said on MTR.
Why don't we start there, where we left off? Pop the balloon. But I did my own personal research on the man.
Go ahead, bro.
So
Okay.
dude's a felon.
But then again, it doesn't mean anything. I know some people that are felons, and
That was
Okay, we already knew he was a felon. I remember hearing that. I don't know if he said it. He definitely didn't say it on the show because he's too busy saying people are not qualified. You know what I'm saying? How can you judge when you were who you used to be? If you are a changed man who God has put you to be, that will show on the outside as well. Like it changes. So your whole mindset, your whole perspective of people should change because you have been in a misty past. But let's go.
well, that's him, a little bit younger.
yeah, when he was younger.
Yeah. Advertises. He basically set up a Craigslist thing. Basically robbed someone at bar. Oh yes. So ended up going to jail for that. But people can change. Just because you were a felon in the past doesn't mean you can't grow out of it. Even but more recently, he had an emergency protective order filed against him by another woman who was basically saying this motherfucker's crazy, and so she went to the judge and got an emergency protective order. Was he?
Isn't that what you said the first video?
Wow. So the tag on there said it was a baby mama. But didn't he say he did not have any children on the show? However, this has been like a snowball effect. Okay, so people have been coming out the woodwork over Mr. Aaron. And it was said that he does have a child that he's not claiming. At least that's what the woman said that he used to stay with, or whatever the case may be.
But he actually does have a kid He just doesn't think it's his, but he does have a kid. He even has a trust fund in the name of that kid. I do even have a receipt of him saying that he has over 100,000 like dollars in the bank.
So she is stating that he does have a child. He's just not claiming. However, there's a trust fund for that child. I don't know how that works. I don't know. I'm just repeating off what she said. If I could find the clip, I'll definitely put that clip in. But let's keep going.
You said if you see someone like that, I wouldn't be surprised of X, Y, and Z. You said exactly that.
Did he lose his job?
I mean, he claims. Because you remember he was arguing with that one girl. And she was like, "Oh, you probably live with your roommate." He's like, "I could pull out 100K now."
Okay.
But one thing about me, I could pull 100,000 on the bank. Can you do the same?
And now
he got a GoFundMe
for 10,000.
This dude.
That's wild. That is wild. I had to make sure that I was on my mic. That's wild. So you can pull out 100K out the bank, but then a GoFundMe has been pushed in for you, has been set up for you. For what exactly? For what exactly? I can't really see what that says. I probably should take my glasses off because I can see better without them when it's so far. Oh, it's too blurry. I can't see. It's too blurry. I can't see it. I remember him being on someone's podcast a couple of days ago. It's a husband and wife podcast. I'll leave it there. Now, to me, they were tooting that man's horn a little too hard. Just blowing a little bit too much smoke up his rear end, if you ask me. But nobody's asking me. But that's just my thing. Like, I was thinking, like, they tooting this man's horn just a little bit too hard. Like, they're blowing a little bit too much smoke up his rear end. But that was just my thinking. But okay, so humanitarian efforts was supporting Aaron, but you can easily pull out 100K out of your bank.
He's a fraudster. And you know what? He did the same thing with the ex.
One time he was really, really mad at me and through the text-free app, because I had his number blocked, he texted me a picture of his bank account, which this is the receipt. His name right there, Aaron. I don't know what Pro Extra member means. I have no idea what all of this means. Supposedly this was his balance.
So you don't know what this receipt is, but he's basically saying, "I got money." Okay. Folks in the comments saw it, they're like, "That's not a bank statement. That's a contractor statement for how much they've spent at Home Depot this year."
Pause. How are you trying to flex that you have this money in, but you gave a receipt? You showed a receipt, but you was just flexing? Pause. Really, sir? If I sound a bit wonky, I had a rough night the other night. All right, so just bear with me. So your flex isn't really a flex. It was just your statement from being probably a contractor, plumbing, because you can get a line of credit from that company because you needed that to do your work. But you're showing that as a flex. This is the same woman that had those statements saying about the not having the not claiming the child. This is also the same woman who he was mooching off of and not giving her a dime and living with her as well, putting a tracker on her car, things like that. So he really, you know what? He shouldn't have got on that show. His true colors showed so much through that show. Wow. And for the men and women who were on his side, like I was on his side too, because I was like, dang, y'all done got that man fired for what? And then I'm like, oh, he's being sassy. But he was giving the backhanded slaps. Like he was like, queen. But let's keep going.
because he works for a company, so he gets so he ain't got no bread. He just lying, bro. 21 hours ago, this man was doing this. The man played y'all. Everybody who donated, everyone who vouched for him, everyone who said this dude is a stand-up guy.
That's y'all GoFundMe. That's y'all GoFundMe. He's throwing up in the air. But he's looking for a woman who's not promiscuous, who's going to follow him and things like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's looking for. But yet, this is his character. This is who he really is.
Bro, he asking y'all for water while he's out here making it rain. Now, does that make sense? Now, it's not your fault. You got wooed by a story, wanted to feel bad for him because you saw yourself in him or something. So not only is the dude a fraud, not only he's a felon, not only has he had protective orders filed against him, not only does he have his ex just airing him out for being a stalking piece of shit, we also got video evidence of this dude being on the show and being a straight weirdo. And now he got a GoFundMe. How you gonna be saying I could pull out $100K, but you asking for a GoFundMe? And you know what it was for? For his humanitarian work. Bro, y'all probably getting scammed by this dude, and he's loving the fact that he's able to get a bit of money to recoup for his stupid fucking mistakes. He has a different ex airing him out. And the things that she's airing him out for, did you see?
It's not cute.
Did you see?
Yep.
So this man
That's
that
the young
claims
lady
to be very godly and studies the Bible and, you know, practices this religion, put sugar in my gas tank.
Now, what did I say? What did I say? I tell y'all all the time. If you don't know me, I'm Juslonda. I'm a child of God. I read the Bible. The Bible plays to me like a movie, and I read the Bible constantly, because there's things that I miss, and every time I've gone back, I'll be like, I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, that Satan was once an angel. Satan used to be one of God's, like he was right there next to Michael, actually. He was like a light. He was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? He was beautiful. So he knows the word. I tell y'all want these men that looks like this, that, and this, and that. The devil can package that stuff up for you too. And be like, then your hair falling out. You're stressing out. You wonder, you got sugar in your tank. You got sugar in your tank. You're wondering why you this and that. Keep going.
Tracked my car, put a phone to record me in my car. Everybody had to walk me to my car after work to make sure that I made it. And the girls would text me, hey, did you make it? Again, it's a clinic full of girls. So that was a red flag number 2. And then one time I walked outside to the cafeteria and he calls me and he's like, how did I know you were outside? So that in my head was like,
because he's watching
already
you.
Turning. I go to my car to see if he put a tracker. And then he pops up at my job like, don't break up with me. Don't do this. Like, I'll change. I thought I was going to catch you doing something. And I was like, how did you know I was outside, right? He said, I put my extra phone tracking you in your car and I left it on record because I was expecting to record you doing something, as in cheating on me or...
That's weird. He said he left it on record. But how can you hear the person? I think he was lying about that part. I'm because if you're recording on a phone, and I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you're recording on a phone, how can you hear what's going on? So no, in fact, you probably was recording it, but you was also watching her the entire time. time. Okay. All right. So, no, you probably were recording her. You were watching her the entire time. And that's how you knew she was outside. Because typically a recorder is just recording. It can't record and put on the output. It doesn't work like that.
Messing around in your car, and I was like, I was done. So he would always be like, you're so broke, like you can't afford me, like just shit like that. When he'd get mad, he'd say the most, but then go and apologize and cry about it.
This dude was incredibly...
That's the same girl that I was mentioning to you about. He also pulled up that receipt on her. But if you listen to her stuff, and I will try to connect it somewhere, either down here or up there, he definitely was like living off of her, because she didn't ask him for anything. She had her own money, so she didn't ask him for anything. So you mean to tell me this whole time you're living with this woman and you're not contributing nothing, but yet you called her broke and things like that? That's really like a female trait. So you are more like, what was Jezebel's husband name? Jezebel and Ahab. You're Ahab. You're the Ahab. You are the feminine energy. Huh.
Controlling and invasive, and she was afraid for life, so she ended up moving to get away from this guy. Now again, these are all allegations that can be substantiated per se. They definitely did see each other, there was a relationship, and they definitely broke apart, but the details can be confirmed. But what I'm saying is, I'm seeing enough red flags to be like, yo, this dude probably ain't worth shit, and you probably want to stay away from him. Did he deserve to lose his job? No. I don't advocate for people to go in and do that stuff.
We don't even know if it's the reason why he lost his job was because of that show.
It could be because of the ex.
I'm not trusting anything this man says.
Not anymore.
Nothing. So if he claimed that he lost his job because y'all were calling, maybe none of y'all called, and he just lost his job because XYZ. Okay. I'm not trusting anything this man says.
I think it's just a sympathy pull. But I mean, the update didn't surprise me. I think all the red flags I saw on the show ended up being right and more on everything we learned after. Apparently, there's even other exes who were coming out. When you have this many people airing you out, when you got a criminal history, you just can't be given that kind of leeway to be like, yo, maybe, just maybe. You know damn well none of these motherfuckers would show even half as much grace to a woman with a criminal history, with all these things, all these exes airing her out, all this stuff that she's been proven to be fraudulent about. So why are they giving so much benefit doubt? Why? Because
that's so true. They would show no grace for a female if it was a female. They would not have shown so much grace. But for a man, I'm telling you, women, we have to be careful. We have to tread lightly. I'm so glad that technically no one ended up being with him. That Esther lady, the one at the end, she ended up not talking to him. She ended up talking to I don't know, but she ended up not choosing him after all. So it's more if all those women say you're no, and the one that you left with ended up saying you're no, that's a little suspicious. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're talking about, whatever you're vibing to isn't vibing.
a dude, they'll say stuff like, oh, these guys are simping for women. Okay. So we got women saying we're simping for men when we say stuff. And then we got these guys saying we're simping for women. Says the truth is
Schrodinger's comedian.
If you disagree with me, it must be because you're being disingenuous or you're trying to make a business decision. Or maybe I just call a spade a spade. Man or woman, if I see weirdo behavior, it just is what it is. But you don't want to believe that. You can't believe that I disagree with you. You think because you've been a fan for some time that we're going to align 100%. If we don't, oh, it's a business decision. No, I thought that guy was weird.
Yeah.
Vast majority of people were like on our side. But there's a lot of people who felt like he wasn't being disrespectful. Yeah. And I had to go watch it back. I don't know how you could watch that guy interact with women and saying he wasn't escalating well beyond whatever they said. We're going to go.
That's the truth. He was giving out. He was being nice, nasty. He had the clip. He was ready. And I mean, he was like eyeballing. He was like, oh my God, a sniper. He's got the target in sight. So he would look at you up and down. I don't like the hair on your arm. Oh, that, the vibe. Oh, it's mutual. Oh, it's definitely mutual, queen. But, no disrespect, queen. He was giving out the backhanded smacks to these women. And the looks. You know what I'm saying? And the looks. I don't know how much longer this is going to be, but I think they're kind of wrapping it up, but not. So let me see. If I have to cut it,
and then he walked away like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Tara. I'm 22.
Okay. And why did we end up popping our balloon?
The comment you made, didn't really, I like a more humble person.
Look how he's
someone that responds so defensive-ish. Yeah, that's really it. I didn't really necessarily like how you responded.
That's fine. Hey, I could just, all I can do is be honest,
Yeah, be honest. Be your authentic self. That's okay.
To find a match that wasn't matching. That's all, queen.
I 100% understand.
Yes, ma'am.
And she sounds so sweet.
She's someone that's your type?
Look at him, look at her up and down.
You're not really my type. I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No disrespect.
But if I see you in public, I wouldn't reach out to you.
Totally fine.
What do you mean if you see her in public? What do you mean if you see her in public? Did you really have to add that part on there? If I see her in public, I wouldn't. Okay, I hear y'all.
They've been on some beef.
That's weird.
Let's be real.
I just can't, nah. Y'all losing me. That's facts. Yeah. Because I these facts. That's facts.
Yo.
You don't have to say that. Just walk it up there.
Hey, I think someone wants to throw in.
And then to reject someone afterwards, you definitely do the most.
Nah. Yeah. Also,
Sir, I'm going to speed this up some.
Some interactions that you have, how you handle rejection says so.
Oh, he's talking about rejection. I definitely want to hear this.
3, 4. So he was staring at her body for 4 seconds. You're weird.
You're weird.
But I'm not even going to play the rest of this shit. I think I just wanted to play that portion. This guy's a great at weird. That's what I think. That's my intuition. If I had a woman in my life, just based off the behavior that he was exhibiting, I'd be like, stay the fuck away from that dude, because he's not well. Now, that's my personal take. If people were in my life, and I think it's very valid. I can look at some interactions that you have. How you handle rejection says so much about you. And after learning everything that I've just said, you know damn well none of you would want your women in your life to date this guy.
I'm tagging.
And if you would, maybe you hate those ladies, and that's why you're sending them to the wolves. Yeah. I know an ex-fella that you can date. Yeah.
I'm tagging this video that's gonna come out under all of the comments that are negative. Watch me. YouTube's gonna suspend my other account just because I'm spamming.
Yeah.
Nah.
So I'm gonna end it on that one. Now, Talk with Yanie. I'm gonna link her channel right there. She did some other investigation where it seemed like maybe he was doing a little bit of sex trafficking, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll try to put in a little snip clip of it, but I will definitely link what she was talking about so y'all can hear from herself, for yourself, what she have found out.
Let me get into the charges that he got booked for. Okay, there are 2 other men that are involved in this situation as well. I'm not mentioning their names because I don't want them to come after me. So he was out in Arizona. Okay, it was illegal control of enterprise. He was booked for that. Money laundering, he was booked for that. He was also booked for keep/reside house prostitution. He was booked for that. Pandering, booked for that. He also received earnings of prostitution. He was booked for that. And he was also booked for sex trafficking. Who are you out here giving your money to?
Found out about him. I want to go to the lady of accountability right quick because I love her stuff. I love her stuff. If she ever comes out with a channel, I'm definitely going to subscribe. But she be on it. You hear me? Her skip tracing skills is okay. So this is MTR. MTR reached out to actually had him on his channel, and they were kind of going back and forth because he was saying that the guy kind of lied to him about the GoFundMe because he only know him from the GoFundMe. He doesn't know him from the balloon dating thing. He found him by the GoFundMe because supposedly he had lost his job that people were calling over 500 and something times, and that's how he lost his job. This is how this guy had found him. I will link his channel so you can hear the actual part of what he's talking about, but I wanted to get to Daphne. Daphne be on it. Daphne be on it.
Play for you that conversation that I had with her right now. All right, so I got the queen of accountability here who's done a lot more investigative work into what we have right here. So I wanted to bring her up and have a discussion regarding the things that she's found. But first and foremost, I'm hurt regarding this.
Speed this up.
Wonderful. Sounds good to me. And thanks for having me, MTR.
No worries.
So I know that this man has been going viral all over social media, and everyone heard this story about him getting fired after doing the dating show.
Right.
That they felt inclined to donate money and continue to make him more viral than he was at the moment. Mm-hmm. I did not talk about it initially because I wanted to investigate before I started to support someone who's telling us a story that is so believable that you want to donate. So what I first did, NTR, is when he created the GoFundMe a week ago, I looked at the GoFundMe and he emphasized that he does humanitarian efforts to single mothers, fathers, veterans, disabled. And, it didn't sit right. He bolded only that part because when you're reading the whole paragraph, you're inclined to go right to the bolded part.
True.
This man is helping out veterans and people that need his help. And so I need to donate. And I just felt like that kind of reminded me of Rhoda Osmond. I said, maybe they're related. Maybe this is her cousin because this is so believable.
I don't know who that person is.
So I did my research. When I went to Aaron's Facebook, I noticed that everything on his Facebook was about him, his body, working out, doing pull-ups.
Everything about Aaron was about Aaron on his page. So nothing about his work. Now, I'm trying to think because when I used to work with the youth, I didn't post too many pictures on my page. I think like maybe some of the stuff, like if I would do like an event, or if I'm putting an event together, then I would probably put that in there. But like, yeah, I don't know if that's a red flag. That's just me. But when I worked as a makeup artist, I did show my work. So,
sit-ups, doing push-ups, everything related to fitness. I was looking even for the picture he used on GoFundMe of him in his uniform. There was no videos, no posts of any of this humanitarian work that he's being praised for. I'm sure a veteran or a single father or a single mother or a disabled person would have said, hey, this man helped us in our time of need. But I didn't see not one receipt.
That's true. That's true. Oh, because one thing people are going to do if they when they show gratitude, they'll tag you in something. You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely true.
So we know that a lot of his exes came out and they gave us a little bit of tea, and that helped me to do more research on him. When I
Skip
did a
tracer.
check on Mr. Sloan, I didn't see a license on file that's connected to his information. And being in education over 11 years, we know all about education. It's linked to your social. If you got a license, if you got a degree, it's going to pull up in any background check.
True.
Don't see one for Mr. Sloan. Never even saw a post.
So you're saying if you're certified, it's easy to find these things. It's like probably like a database that you can go into to assure that he's certified. Is that what you mean?
That is correct, MTR. Like if I wanted someone to do a facial, I'm going to go to a licensed esthetician.
Right.
But before I get her services, I'm going to verify that she does have an active license in that state. Anytime you say
that's true. Well, he did say he was licensed and not certified. So anytime you are licensed, you do go up into a state board for to be licensed. She said she couldn't find one.
For a license or you sit for or any exam, it's going to be public record. I just didn't see one for him.
And now, did you not see one at all, or did you not see one that was currently active?
I did not see one at all. What I did see was that he did work for a LLC. When I looked at LLC up in Arizona, the person that owns the LLC is in foreclosure right now. So I thought that was odd that they had time to hire Mr. Sloan when they're losing their house. But then I did more investigative work and I contacted a...
But you know what? Maybe the LLC could be in bankruptcy and still, like, because, okay, this used to be a makeup channel, right? Morphe was in bankruptcy, right? But they still had people working for them. So
place that had the same name in California. And Hector said he never heard of him. Hector. So that's two jobs that I haven't heard of him. And that was the only job that was related to this man's information. What I did find was over 30 cases across many states. We're talking about Nevada, California, Texas, Oklahoma. He's internationally known, but not for any positive reasons. So it made me believe that he did not get fired. If anything, I would say that Mr. Sloan was into fitness, and that was his job. He just didn't want to embarrass himself after telling those ladies he could pull $100 grand out of the bank. So he knew saying that he got fired would play on everyone's heartstrings like it did, and people were going to donate.
That will make sense. That would make sense that he's into fitness, because anytime you see him, when you first met him, he had a V cut. It wasn't a V cut. He had his shirt unbuttoned, flexing the fact that he had a muscular body. When he was on Instagram, he was shirtless. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. He's very proud of his body. And I believe Daphne is probably right. He probably is a fitness person. But he came out saying that he was he was a licensed plumber first. So maybe he did do plumbing work, but under someone, because you can shadow someone and be paid to do work. He just probably wasn't the licensed plumber. He was just probably like the assistant. You see what I'm saying? He was probably like the assistant, like a stylist, or not a stylist, a hairdresser. If you're in school, sometimes they will hire assistants to, do certain stuff where their license is not in jeopardy. You see what I'm saying?
Direct my audience to your live stream that you're going to have later on this week to kind of go over
She
all
has
of that
one.
stuff.
I have to find
but
her.
specifically as it refers to not maybe not even having a job to lose at the time of being right after the pop the balloon, and then fabricating that for a story. That's really where I wanted to focus in right now, because that's how I know about him. The pop the balloons thing happened 4 weeks ago or something like that. I didn't know anything about it until it was him losing his job. Then I saw this dissenting views regarding him, and then I had a conversation with him, holding him accountable at different times that I thought, things just didn't make sense. Absolutely. Never advocating for the GoFundMe, right? Saying you need to provide evidence, but then it's coming out right now that when I ask him directly, hey, can you send me, what is the name of the place that you worked? Now he needs to go get a lawyer.
No, he's got to get a lawyer.
What's your license number? Now he needs to go get a number, right? And it's odd how that is happening now. He's okay to go live and to talk about these things in order to clear his name when I ask these questions to prove and provide data or receipts, because he fooled the whole country.
He really did.
He fooled the whole country.
He
fooled people who went and paid
really
within the GoFundMe. But everybody who's reviewing the story is saying it's messed up that he got fired. It's messed up. But the assumption was that he wouldn't be lying to that extent, that perhaps it's not true.
So I'm just going to end it on that note. I'm going to leave the rest of the stuff, I click on it so y'all can hear the rest of it. But he was a scammer. I'm so glad that those girls' discernment was discerning them. Aaron, how can you ask? How can you get up and be like these people were disqualified or wasn't qualified, and be of a nice nasty, because that's all I can say, a nice nasty gentleman to these women, when your past is your past and your present is your present. How can you be this man? You're throwing money up in the club. You're looking for this, this God-fearing woman, and someone that's going to submit and not be a Jezebel and promiscuous and all these other things, but you're living a whole lie yourself. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. So y'all definitely check out those people's channels. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what y'all heard. He was sassy. Well, he was a sassy man for a reason. He had a lot to hide. And you know what? Going back at, he was just so ready. He was so ready with the clip. And he was like, who popped that? What was that? He was on edge. He definitely was on edge. And yeah, so that's all I got. Comment down below. I'm glad those ladies discernment was discerning, and they dodged the bullet. I think these shows definitely need to vet these people just a tad bit more. You know what I'm saying? Just a tad bit more. Because you don't want to put these women into harm's way, or these men into harm's way. And especially with Aaron having a past of possibly trafficking or I forgot what Yanie said, but dealing with women in the wrong way, an unlawfully way. We'll say that. I would just probably vet these people just a tad bit more. So on that note, fam band, comment down below. I'm sorry that this was so long, but thanks for watching, rating, subscribing, all that good jazz that make me feel so warm and fuzzy.